Yeah, so this is it, right?
Yeah.
So what'd you think of the Led Zeppelin album?
I think Led Zeppelin is the most overrated band that's ever existed in musical history.
You know, I was surprised. It was better than I thought it was. Like it was one of those things where, like, I wasn't pulling my hair out the whole time, like when we did Poison, but like Led Zeppelin was still like, I kind of want to like rip my front teeth out.
How'd you feel about Pink Floyd, though?
Pink Floyd I enjoyed.
There you go.
Like, I mean, so here's the thing. I was a secret Pink Floyd fan back in high school. Like, I bought the album. I listened to...
Which album? The Wall?
The Wall.
Okay.
The Wall, of course.
The one that everyone has?
The one that fucking everybody has. It's kind of like when we did Journey. I was like, yeah, these are all Journey. I didn't know these were all Journey.
Okay, that's actually true, though. There are tons of songs that are Journey that I had no idea.
Yeah, I mean, the same thing with Pink Floyd, right? Like,
Yeah.
I had no fucking clue. Like what is it? Like the Every Brick in the Wall song? Like, when I first heard that, like, got the album in high school, I had no idea. No fucking idea.
I feel that way about Queen, too. There's a lot of Queen songs that I didn't...
Fuck, I said Queen. I was thinking, said Journey. I was thinking Queen.
Journey still is also...
Yeah, because I was thinking of the movie, right?
Yeah, Journey also has a lot of songs that you don't realize are Journey
songs. Oh, no,
songs.
I know those are... I'm a closet Journey fan. Like, super closet. Like, Scrubs turned me on to it back in college. Whatever the fuck college was.
Yeah. So you got that Don't Stop Believing playing on in your headphones?
Don't stop believing.
Just hold on to that love and feeling. That's how you hit that note, man.
Oh,
That's where
man.
it's at.
I was surprised by how much money we raised, though. Like, really, like, I really didn't think cancer would be the thing that made us a bunch of money.
True.
Like rock music, classic rock music for cancer would be the thing.
It's true.
But it did. Like, right? Like, what was it? Like $1,500 we ended up raising?
It went into the Chris Moss, Nick Westermeyer Fund of Life.
Yeah, I was really surprised.
It's a new not-for-profit.
Which is our way of saying we haven't done any of this.
No,
right?
You know what? Life happens, guys. You know what this podcast has taught me? That as parents, you don't have any time to do anything you want to do because shit's always going to go wrong. I've been waiting for our dishwasher to be fixed for 2 weeks now. I have had to take off work for it. They still haven't come.
They're so much worse.
It's waiting for Godot.
So... yeah, we should probably get started so we can dive into that.
True.
Hey everybody, I'm God damn it. Hi everybody, welcome to Two Dumb Dads. I'm Chris.
I'm Nick.
And this is an incredibly rusty episode 49 for March 1st.
Truth.
So I know we promised that we were going to do that classic rock thing for charity over the month of February, but we obviously didn't, and there's a lot of reasons why.
Shit happened.
Some of which we can share, some of which we can't.
Truth.
What I'll say is Nick has had a lot of dishwasher issues.
We had dishwasher. My wife was
dumb shit, right?
shit, and my wife was in Fashion Week, which is like her busiest time of the year. So
yeah,
these things happen.
And I've had some serious stuff going on with my family, which of course I can't get into because it's their decision whether to share it, not mine.
But you can send some good thoughts in the air.
Yeah, just like some love to people.
Yeah,
we're sending love to people.
Yeah,
those people who are listening and know, awesome, thank you. And if those people who don't, then just know that we love you and we're sorry that we missed this like fucking month of February.
Truth.
But with that being said, we're back. We're hopefully going to get back on a schedule. I think we literally said this exact same thing last episode after a month off.
If we're gonna be honest, it's
every episode, right?
Yeah,
it's like,
probably.
So we missed
until summer.
6 weeks.
Until summer, probably.
Yeah, until summer. We were like, I'm just constantly streaming shit. You're constantly over here recording.
Yeah.
But in the meantime,
we are here now.
Yeah,
and that's what matters.
So
that's what matters.
I think you said you wanted to do your adventure in dadding first.
Yeah.
So let's dad guy, damn it.
So my adventure in dadding this week is that my wife and I actually hosted an adult party that had kids that came. Your kid being one of them.
Yeah.
And so that was.
And I got to eat this time.
You did.
That was great.
Your poor wife did not get to sit at the table though.
She got booted off by her daughter.
She did. Actually, it was really nice. It was nice to we did it for my wife's birthday, whose birthday is right after mine, basically. And so one of the things I wanted to do for her was just make a really nice dinner. So we did. I used a recipe that we had learned, and it was, I thought, really cool to both have, 2 kids and us basically, and then another couple that was there that's friends, really good friends with my wife that we had invited over, and so to have like actual adult conversations while the kids were there. So it hit like a new stage, I think, of our kids being of an age where you can do that, where you can have a little bit of like autonomy and be people at least a little bit. Now, I mean, shit still happened, like wine
Right.
flying on the walls, but I still feel like it was
My daughter.
she. I didn't see it. I was cooking. I spent
So
most time
let me
cooking.
tell that part of the story because
All right.
I was there. My daughter, in a moment of like pure joy, was actually interacting with people we didn't know. That doesn't happen. Like I have
Yeah.
the shyest kid who like curls up in the ball whenever she's around people she doesn't know. But the gentleman was playing Play-Doh with her, and he was I don't remember what he was making, but he was making things and playing with her. My daughter just got so excited that like she forgot everything, and so she leaned on your coffee table, which is not a very sturdy coffee
Yeah.
table. Like it's a beautiful coffee table,
But
it's
not,
gorgeous.
It's not like
but it's not
thick.
like
Yeah.
it's not like a sturdy, like thick, like this is a coffee
Yeah.
table. And so the second she leaned on it, everything on that coffee table, like wine bottle, wine glasses, Play-Doh, Legos, all of this shit just went flying in this beautiful catapult of red wine. And I swear to God, like 10 feet away on the television, there were drops slowly falling down, like the opening of Dexter.
I missed all this. All I did was I heard it because like I said I was finishing dinner. But besides that, which is just that's a kid thing. I mean, honestly, to me that's
minor details.
that's kids. I mean, that's what's gonna happen when you have
Sure.
kids. I just as a parent, I thought it was really cool to finally be able to do something with both parents and non-parents. You know what I mean? Because
Sure.
like it's one thing to just have parents over, and to watch kids interact both with each other and with different people. And so I thought that was a nice step. It was a step that I have been looking forward to.
Yeah.
Because that's just going to continue to be more realistic, right? Where you can do more adult things with your child there because they can do things on their own more than they used to.
Yeah, totally.
So that's my adventure in dadding.
Cool.
Making dinners.
So my adventure dadding is mutually something that has happened over the last month, and also something that I am terrified of actually doing in the future. So Thea has officially spent time out of a diaper and in underwear.
Oh, nice. That's huge.
It's huge and terrifying because she's not actually potty trained. Like she's just not.
But it's the start. It's the start of the process.
Like she's been excited about it for like a couple months now. Like we've gotten her lots of underwear, like all these branded underwear. It's like, oh, aren't you excited? I really am. Yeah, let's wear it. And so the other day, like I don't know, like I think she woke up from a nap with a dry diaper. She went to the bathroom and pottied, and my wife's like, all right, cool. Okay, you did this. Like, I'm going to reward you. Let's put on underwear. And so she put on underwear, and it was like, oh, this is like a moment of like this is just a ticking time bomb. Like this kid is going to pee in there because she's not actually good at this yet. But at the same time, she's 2.5, and she really needs to start getting good at this. So it's like,
You realize
What?
that like that's still really early for most people, right?
you realize like there's preschools that are like, we accept kids from 3 to 5, but everybody must be potty trained.
I know, but
It's like,
every other kid I know that's our kid's age or in that area is not even started yet.
Oh, well, no, oh yeah, it's true.
Yeah,
But
not even. I mean, again, I know boys potty train. It's harder to potty train boys than girls. They tend to do it later. Your wife's even said that.
oh, okay.
But yeah, she's early on this track.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
Okay. Either way, like that was the thing that started happening. I was like, okay, that's a thing that's happening now. Like that's the thing we're going to start working on. Like we've been working on it for a long time, but I
Yeah.
think we're going to actually start working on it in a real way. And it is like, I don't know, it is so like it's exciting and also so terrifying.
She's gonna be cleaning
because
pee a lot.
I see that day when it's like, all right, we're doing the naked Sunday, and it's like, all right, we're gonna roll out the rug. We're gonna place like I don't know, like a drop cloth or something. And like, all right, kid, you were wearing these underwear, and you're gonna piss in them, and you're gonna be super uncomfortable, and we're just gonna keep this process going until you are so unhappy in it that you learn to pee on the potty.
Yep. Yeah.
God, I'm not looking forward to that. Like I personally will just feel so uncomfortable that I'm just gonna like be crying in the bathroom. Like I can't leave it. I feel so bad for her.
I think most parents like if you wanted to, you could do it the Pauline Westermeyer way and add socks to that equation.
Oh,
Yeah, my mom's hardcore.
oh, that's
She's
just
fucking hardcore.
oh, that sounds awful.
It is. I think that's the point. It's supposed to be awful.
I know, but that sounds awful.
Yeah, I think you have to do all that laundry.
I don't even want to think about this anymore.
But here,
oh,
think how
God.
much money you're gonna save in diapers. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm in.
Yeah, that's all I think about.
I'm
how much
done.
money you're
I'm
gonna save in
sold.
diapers.
Yeah,
Right.
I'm good for this.
Right.
Let's go. So this week we are talking about disciplining kids. So Nick, this was something you came up with. What are your thoughts here?
So this is I'll give you what prompted this. So I had dropped Miles off at school one day. Oh, it was for picture day. And he was like running, and they're trying to get him to slow down. So my kid's like one of the 3 kids that instigates the running. And he can't run at school. They have to use walking feet. And I realized that it is totally my fault because I totally let him run in our house. Like, it's a game we play. And so I started thinking about like, okay, how do you discipline that? Should you discipline that? Or is that just like an at-home versus school thing, right? Like, this is something you can do at home, but you can't do at school, and you have to learn the difference.
Sure.
And then I started thinking about like, well, what do you discipline your kids for, and how do you do that? I mean, obviously timeouts, and we've talked about that, but like, what should merit, as we get into more, they're more cognizant, and they can somewhat reason stuff, like, what do you discipline for? What should you discipline for? And like, what kind of rules should be the same at home and at school? It's just like this big, like, it's different than like, oh, you hit me, I'm going to put you in timeout. Like, that was easy.
Right.
Like, don't hit, don't bite, timeout. Like,
and I want to make sure I'm clear here. Like, we're not going to talk about like how you discipline kids, right? Like, we're just going to take for granted, like, everybody fucking knows you don't smack your kid. You're not supposed to spank your kid. We're not going to do that shit, right? Like, we're just going to, like, if we have that conversation, that's a different day.
That's a different, like,
we're not doing that right now.
No,
we're talking about like the philosophical, like, when and why. And, like, how do you determine like what is a disciplinable offense?
And like consistency, like that's something I thought a lot about. Like,
ooh, this is good. I like this.
Right? Because I've noticed, like, and we're pretty consistent with some things, right? Like, if he hits or he hasn't bitten forever, but like if he hits, which he doesn't do that much, like, timeout, man, like, that's boom, we got that.
Right.
But like, do you discipline if they're like really, really whiny and aren't doing something? Because they're getting to that point where they need to learn, like, hey, if I ask you to put your shoes on, we need to put our shoes on, like. And do you discipline for that, or do you not discipline for that, or do you do? And then does it happen sometimes, and then you're not consistent? It's like this weird. I don't know.
So here's my question: when you say that, because that's part of the thing that I'm thinking about too. Is like, I don't know about you, but my kid is whiny, and when my kid,
mine is too. I think it's a kid thing, right?
Yeah. I mean, this is something I'm going to talk about a little bit more next week, but for the most part, like, when my kid is whiny, like, she is surprisingly articulate with her whining. Like, it's not just like meow. It's like, no, I want to watch Harry Potter. It's Harry Potter now. Harry Potter is what we've been watching.
Where's Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse?
God, I'm so jealous.
Oh, God, so good.
Actually, no, I'm not jealous because like we've been on Avatar for a while, and I fucking love Avatar, the last Airbender Avatar.
Anyway, whining.
But
articulate
so, like,
whining.
Yeah, so it's like she whines. She's like, no, I don't want to do that. I want to do this. And then she's like, no, I want to watch Avatar. I want Avatar. It's like, fuck, like, I do too, kid. I really, like, I would much rather not go to work and sit here and watch Avatar with you. Like, if I could just snuggle with you all fucking day and watch Avatar, like, fuck it, yeah, let's do this. Fuck my work. Let's just watch Avatar. I bet we can make it to the episode where Zuko teaches him firebending. I bet we could do that.
We can get there.
If you consider that spoilers, I'm sorry, this show is over 10 years old.
It is for me because I haven't watched it at all, but
all the same.
But it also means nothing to me because of that.
Yeah, there you go. It's a name.
Yeah.
Point is, like we've gotten to the point now where we're like, okay, we have to start setting boundaries here. You don't get to be whiny and refuse shit. Like, you can express your feelings. You can be unhappy, and you don't have to be, happy about this, but you do have to do it.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, if we tell you to put like to get your shoes or to allow us to put your shoes on, like, okay, you need to do this or else we're going to start counting, which is surprisingly effective because I think Erin has like a really good teacher mommy voice.
She does. I've only heard it once in action. It's legit.
I hear it constantly. Not constantly. That's unfair. But.
It's legit.
Mm-hmm. And she does it really well. Like, it's not just the like authoritative like one. It's the like the one. You need to make better choices. Are you going to make good choices?
It's to make you feel guilty why you count.
It's the like, I want to make sure you are very clear and you understand why we are taking this action so that you can choose not to take this action should you like. And oh my God, like by the time she gets to 2, she has a pretty good chance.
And see, what's interesting though, and this is where I think you have a huge benefit, is that your partner is trained in that, right?
Super benefit.
And so like, well, everyone can do this thing. Like, there is a
we'll get to that.
There's a specific way to do it that even if you read and learn to do it, you're going to be like, I'm not good at this. And the same, because you just can't execute it in the same
having a
way.
lifetime of raising kids or dealing with
And
kids
having a degree
is
in it.
completely. She had a sister who was 10 years younger than her. She got an elementary education degree. She's been the director of a preschool for the last 12 years.
Yeah.
She has a social work degree. This woman is like designed for child rearing at this age.
And also, and this is something that I will say, she is good. You know, like you'll meet. I've known people like who are really good teachers, but they aren't necessarily as good at it with their own kids.
Yeah.
It's like when you're good at something in a job, you're not as good at it out of the job. But
Sure.
your wife is like she's very good at like in the classroom and then also out of the classroom and applying those same principles consistently.
There's definitely like teacher mommy differences, but yes, she is excellent.
Yeah.
So what is it that you guys are currently doing? Like what do you discipline and what don't you discipline?
Well, so this is the funny thing because we're not quite where Thea's at yet, right? So
Yeah.
we have the whining, but I also understand he's still 3 months younger, so there's not the articulateness with the whining. Like ours is his coat. Like he never ever wants to put his coat on, and it's always in the morning I have to get out of there, so I can't really like. There's some days where I just put him in the car, and the thing is, I'm like, it's cold out. Guess what? And he'll get outside and it's cold. I'm like, yeah, it's cold. You didn't put your coat on,
Right.
But we haven't done a ton of discipline outside of like if he throws something, making him pick it up, making him say please and thank you and try to use his words more. But he's also just whiny. But he's still at the phase where it's just like a whine because he doesn't want to use his words.
Yeah.
Like when I don't know if you ever had this with Theo, where like they're actively choosing not to say the word.
Oh yeah, all the time.
Yeah.
Fucking all the time.
That's what he'll be like, what do you want? And you know that he can tell you, and he'll do that until finally it's a game, and then it's a game, then he'll tell you. So, but that's the thing, like we haven't really disciplined because he's not.
So when you say like he won't like, are you talking about an important word like he won't say thank you? He
No,
or something, or is it like what do you mean by that?
Like he'll be like, are you hungry? Like what are you hungry for? And he'll do that for a while, and he'll finally go. Or he'll be like, do you want a yogurt? No. Do you want an applesauce? No. And then he'll come back and he wants the yogurt.
Yeah.
Or, it's weird. Like it's just, but like he doesn't always use his words to express because I think he just wants to whine. But then he laughs about it because it becomes a game.
Sure.
And so it's like, do you discipline that? Like, what do you do with that? So what we've been doing is he just has to tell us. Like,
so in this sense, it's how do you define discipline?
I don't know because we don't. He doesn't get in trouble a lot. It's not like we. Because again, he doesn't do a lot that's wrong, I guess, in my head. But I know that like at some point we have to figure out.
So do you consider insistence discipline? So for example,
okay, yeah, go.
Of course, I'm going to use my kid because
that's
my kid.
Yeah.
Like when it comes to breakfast or something, right? Like Thea decides she's going to make breakfast with me, which doesn't happen as much as it used to. It's really sad. She chooses to watch TV instead. But let's say she's making breakfast with me. Like we have a rule. It's not necessarily like a hardened rule, but it's one of our annoyances. Where she like there's a thing going on at school where everybody says uppy. Like every word ends with E.
Yeah.
Bookie, uppy, etc. We don't like that. So we tell her like so if she says uppy please, meaning like will you pick me up? We'll say, I'm sorry, how do you ask? Up please.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Pick me up please. Okay, yes, I'll pick you up now.
Yeah.
Like it's not a matter of like you're in trouble, I'm going to scold you, like you're bad. But like I will wait to do the action until she says it the proper way. I don't know if that's considered discipline, but I would probably say that's at the very least it's it's a behavioral adjustment.
It's discipline because you're correcting something that she's doing. To me, anyway, and I think because you're correcting something that she's doing that you, as a parent, don't want her to do, whether that's a big thing or a small thing. So, like, that's something that like I don't give a shit about at this point. But that's me, right? But like I do care about other things. So to me, that's discipline. She's just not getting in trouble for it. She's just not getting what she wants.
Yeah.
So I think that's discipline. And then,
well, she's getting what she wants. She's just not getting to say it the way that she originally was.
But you're not giving it to her until she says it the way that you want her to, which to me, that is discipline, right? That's, I mean, it's...
No, and I'm not going to argue with that. Like, I'm not saying it's not discipline. I'm okay with us defining that as discipline.
I'm just saying, like, it's kind of like training. I mean, you're training her is basically what you're doing.
Yeah, that's what parenting is, right? Like, you're training them how to be human beings.
Yeah. And it's just a matter of what you put the emphasis on at what given time. But so, like, that kind of stuff, I don't find difficult. Like, that makes sense to me. Like Miles will say up and I'll pick him up, and it's stuff where like whining. Like at what point do you have to discipline that?
Because immediately. Fucking yeah, I shut that shit down.
And see, I do sometimes and don't, because I just don't.
I also mock her.
I do that too.
We're really bad. We kind of mock her a lot.
Yeah.
But very lovingly, like, but yeah, no, we'll totally mock her.
Yeah, and we do that too, and like I think a lot of parents do. Mm-hmm. But it's funny because in my mind, I'm always like, well, it's hard, right? I'm like, well, you're not doing anything wrong necessarily. Like,
yeah, you are.
Yeah, I guess that's
you are.
And that's the consistency, and that's where I struggle as a parent. Like, is that something that I need to like discipline, and how do I discipline that when like in the morning I just got to get the fuck out the door, like. And so
well, so what I'll say is when Thea whines, our typical rule is, unless there is a very good reason why she might be feeling that she needs to be whining in this moment. She doesn't feel well. She's hungry. She hasn't napped. We don't punish her.
Yeah.
We won't necessarily give in to whatever she wants because she's whining, but we won't punish her. If, on the other hand, she's whining just because she's not getting her way and there's no good excuse for why she might be feeling this way, then what we will typically do is we will say, like, no, you don't get to whine. You need to make better choices. You need to adjust this action, or else we're going to have to have a timeout or something. Like, this is something that will lead to repercussions. Let's act differently, and we won't give in. And of course, that will inevitably lead to like a full-blown tantrum for like an hour and a half. Or longer, as it was last weekend. But like, that's a battle that I'm willing to fight, because especially for a girl, I think like whining is a pervasive thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of women especially will get a lot of things that they want for a very long time by whining.
Caveat dude that talks about it.
Yeah, no, look, we're two guys, but that's the thing, right?
It's just that moment of like,
oh no, this is totally like mansplaining, like dirty whatever.
Yeah,
but that's a fear of mine. Like, that is a fear that, like, because when I say this, what I'm thinking of is like, I'm really worried about that princess syndrome.
Yeah, which is like your big overarching,
which is like my big overarching parental fear is like, I want my kid to be confident and strong and not have to be given everything. And so I feel like if you cave into whining, then inevitably that instills like, okay, if you whine, if you do this, then you'll get your way. And that's one of those traits that permeates into adulthood, much as like toxic masculinity is like what I would argue is kind of like the male equivalent. Fucking worse. But still,
that's what we were. It's like, how do you make sure you're kind and considerate and like. Especially as he developed, this is going to sound really shitty, so bear with me again.
Hey, I just talked about fucking whining.
As he develops and becomes more like, in my mind, like a stereotypical little boy, where he's a fucking cannonball. Like, he is just he never, like, he doesn't snuggle, and it's not that he doesn't like snuggles. He's just constant, like, he's just got to be on the move, and he's got to like do this, and he wants to jump, and he wants to play, and like in a way that like I don't know how to describe it, but like what you would stereotypically think of as a little boy. Even though I know it's probably all kids, it's just weird. It's like, it's just different than Thea. I don't know how to describe it. Like, I've been around Thea enough and him enough and played with them both that like, it's the play they want is just different, but the same, but different. So I totally get what you're saying. But I find it really hard too with the whining, because he doesn't have as many words as like Thea has, right?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of times where I'm like, are you whining because you can't find the word right now? And at that point, like, I don't know if I want to try to help you find the word, but I don't want to discipline you for it. Sure. But then I have trouble with consistency, because then it's like.
So what do you usually do in that situation?
And I try to get him to say what he wants, and usually like I'll keep pressing it until he gets the word out. Or if that doesn't work, he'll take me and show me. And if he shows me, then I usually can get him to give me the word that he wants.
I think that's great.
Yeah, but it still doesn't change the whining though. It doesn't change the like. But I have trouble telling the difference sometimes between him just being tired or just wanting to whine, because.
So what I would say in that situation, like I think whining in that situation is a perfectly reasonable developmental thing.
Yeah.
And this is gonna sound super shitty, and forgive me, but like, when a kid is developing language, and if he's not there yet, where he has like a vast array of words that he can choose from, then inevitably you're anxious and you're upset because you have a thing that you want. You know where it is. You know how it is. You just want it, but you don't know how to express that. And so you whine.
Makes sense.
So I totally get that. And the fact that you're able to have him take you to the item that he knows what it is, and that you're then able to like give him the item to comfort him, and then reinforce like the verbal lesson, like, okay, this is what the word is. Can you repeat the word? This. That yogurt. Can you say yogurt? Yogurt. Yogurt. Good job. Yay,
Yeah.
yogurt. Like, that's great. That's perfect. Like, that's where we're at, right? Like, that's what you're supposed to be doing.
But here's the other added kick to this.
Okay.
Because my kid doesn't eat a lot, I've gotten to that point now where like I'm trying to not let him just eat. This is really hard. Just not let him eat everything. Like he'll go on like a cookie kick where he'll eat
Sure.
like 14 bajillion vanilla wafers, but he's not eating
I
anything
was going to
else.
say, it's not cookies. It's a specific
vanilla wafers.
singular type of
But
cookie.
if you run out, he'll whine because of that. And like, how do you teach? And this is where I struggle. And so I don't get
fuck,
frustrated.
you're just screwed. That's going to happen for the next 10 years.
But you know how like, but so
longer.
this is for
Probably
me with the
longer.
parent discipline is how do I not get frustrated with that?
You do.
Because you do. But then you're trying to explain to him like, but we're out. Do you want this thing? And then he starts just full on just like, "Meh."
And that's one of those temperament things as an individual. Like I have a very docile temperament where like I will get annoyed easily, but I'm usually able to take a take a step back, take a deep breath, and then just find like in some ways the humor of it.
Yeah.
And be like, you're throwing a temper tantrum because we ran out of Minions gummies. Sorry, we don't fucking have them.
Yeah.
Here are these 8 other type of gummies you can have, or you can fucking deal. We'll get them the next time we go to the store.
Yeah.
And
I
of course
normally
say nicer
can,
than that
but sometimes
ish.
it gets stacked. But then that's a great example of like, so what point do you start to discipline for that, right? Where you're like, listen, we're out and I understand you're upset, but you can't act this way anymore.
We do.
You do?
Yeah.
And see, we haven't yet because I don't know. And this thing, I don't know what discipline to enact with it. Like, is that a timeout? Is that a talking to? Is that a, and then it's like, do you do it every time? Do you let them be upset? It's really interesting.
And so when I say discipline, I don't mean like we're angry, we're going to fervently punish you. But what I will say is like in that situation, the discipline I would give is I'm not going to cave. Like I'm not going to run to the store right now and buy you Minions gummies or whatever the thing is.
And we're pretty good about that.
It's okay. I'm very sorry. I understand that you have feelings about this and that you're sad, but this is the way the world is right now. And I'm sorry, but we're not going to go out and get them right now. We'll get them the next time we go to the store though. And I'll try and comfort them, but at the same time, I'm not going to cave into their demands. Because while I understand that, like, okay, like you're unhappy and you don't understand that, like, there's a limitation on what's in that box. But at the same time, you have to understand that when you don't get your way, you don't get you don't suddenly get the thing because you're upset.
And you're not always going to get your way. We've been doing that with the TV a lot too. I guess, it's funny. I kind of a segue into this whole thing, unless you have something else.
I do have a thing, if that's
sorry.
okay.
Yeah.
Like, I have a similar issue that's a little bit different now. And this is something like if it's okay with you, I would like to spend more time talking about this like overarching like theme next week.
Yeah.
But as like a little bit of a because I think this is specifically pertinent to what we're talking about today. Thea's really good linguistically. Like she's a little bit advanced, right?
Yeah. No, I mean it was a crazy jump when I saw it happen. Like,
she's incredibly.
It's really
advanced when
cool.
it comes to
It's
linguistics.
really cool.
But because of that, I sometimes forget that she's not 17.
Yeah, we were having a conversation with dealing with something different where I was talking to you like yeah.
And so like the other day, I can't remember exactly how it went, but I think it's like Thea is really like she has a lot of words. She knows a lot of words.
She's good at putting together sentences too.
And she's very good. Like I said, pick me up, please. Like that's like kids are supposed to know a word per, like be able to put together a word a year. She's saying like 6 or 7 word sentences or more.
Yeah.
Like we have full conversations.
Yeah.
But specifically the thing that's been getting to me lately is that she knows please and thank you. She's usually pretty good about saying thank you. She's pretty good about saying please, but she has to be prompted. Like every now and then she'll do it on her
Miles
own.
Is that way too.
But normally she has to be prompted.
Yeah.
And so the big thing that I've been wanting to work on with her is like you say please before you're prompted. Like don't wait for somebody to remind you to say please. Say please the first time.
Yeah.
And so that was something I was working on. And like I think it was this weekend or last weekend. And so I was really starting to like push this for her. And so when she didn't like say it, I just reminded her like, yeah, remember we're trying to work on saying it before the first time. And I think I don't remember what happened, but I think I was probably like feeling a little motion sick in the car because that happens. I drink too much coffee, I get dehydrated, and then I get grumpy in the car.
Yeah.
Or plane trains.
The
point is
the way you're commuting.
And so I don't remember what Thea says, but she says something kind of like I've been doing all day. Just said, "Okay, Thea, remember we're trying to say please the first time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you don't do this, we're going to have to start like not giving you the thing." As a way, like you don't want to positive reinforce, you don't want to reinforce the action that you don't want. And so, and Aaron just kind of snaps at me and is like, how do you know she's not trying? I'm like, oh, fuck.
She's right.
No, she is right. Cause like my kids too, she's already well above what she's supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
And here I am trying to push her beyond it. But the point is like, at what point do you say like, okay, for this age, this is okay. I'm not going to push them further. Like, I'm not going to discipline you for not being more advanced. How do you say like, okay, like this is okay, and we're not going to like push this?
So I actually think in a weird way, this is something that I'm good at because so Miles is saying like Miles linguistically for where he's at is really good. Like the dude sings songs, like full on songs. So I know he has those words, right? He's not quite to the Y phase like Thea, but I'm really good at understanding that like. So I think when they're linguistically advanced, like Thea is, and I think Miles is, and according to your wife, so is Miles, because that's who I refer to where he's at. But still understanding their age, right? So just because you have the words does not always mean you have the context. And so the reason why I say this with Thea, because I drove her home that one time with the Ys, and she's asking me why, but she's not. I realize she's just asking why to ask why because it's a thing she can do, but she's not completely getting the connection of it.
Okay.
You'd
be surprised, but yeah, go ahead.
But no, but I think that you're probably overestimating it, which is what Aaron's saying, and I'm going more just like I'm experiencing you. So like when she's like, why is Miles crying? Because he doesn't have his food. And then she goes, okay, why? And then I was like, okay, so you kind of get it and you kind of don't, but you kind of do.
Well, I think I think what's happening in these situations is that like what she's able to grasp is like she has such a low frame of reference, right? Like she understands so few things in the world that like what we think is the most basic fundamental explanation
is mind blowing to her.
Is still something that she can't understand. And so she has to like, okay, explain that to me now. Again. And so it's like, okay, why is Miles crying? Because he doesn't have his food.
Well,
why doesn't he have his food?
Yeah.
Well, because we're in the car and I can't hand it to him. Okay, well, why can't you hand it to him? You always hand him shit. Well, it's like, well, because I'm driving. Okay, what does that fucking matter? The car's going. I don't see shit back here.
Right. So think about that the same way with the please thing, where like she might kind of get it, like she's getting what you want, but she's also too. So like that shit in her realm of things she cares about or remembers or even can like she's forgotten what you're trying to do in 5 minutes.
Sure.
And I think that's important to remember, like where they're at developmentally at that age too. So like even though she might have a bunch of words, it doesn't always mean that she's gonna like connect those things. And so I think what you're doing is right. Like you're trying to get teacher to do something, but I think at this young of age, because she's so far advanced, to get annoyed. I think annoyed is probably the best word, right? Because you're not.
Yeah, no, absolutely annoyed. Like I'm not upset by any means. It's just it's more one of those things where it's like, this is the lesson. Like, okay, you've learned the other lessons. This is the next lesson.
And understand that, like, this lesson might just, it's a really advanced lesson, right?
Sure.
So understanding that, like, she might really be trying, just like Miles' whining is, I a lot of times think he is trying to find a way to express it. He just doesn't have the, like, he's not there yet, right?
Sure.
Like, and I always forget because he has so many words. You're like, but you know that word and you know how to ask for it. But in that moment, his brain just isn't firing like it would because he's fucking 2.
Right.
And I think with that, like, it's the same thing. So I think, like you said, Aaron's totally right, but understanding that, like, I think as a parent, just like I had to get over my developmental fears, I think sometimes you have to remember to pull back a little bit.
Sure.
Right. You can still work on it, but understand that, like, the advancements are gonna ebb and flow a lot. Like,
oh yeah, yeah. Like, I know. Like, I first of all, like, as much as I'm like, oh yeah, my kid's a fucking genius.
Yeah.
I'm also aware, like, she may be like ahead now, but eventually people are gonna catch up to her.
Yeah.
Like just like she's the tall kid, she's gonna be the average kid. Eventually she'll be the short kid. It's just gonna fucking happen.
But it is hard because she has so many words, and like, there's
in the moment, it's like, I also don't want to be the person like, okay, this is the moment right now. Like this Y phase is when they're a fucking sponge, right? It's like, this is when everything you say they are absorbing, good and bad.
Yeah.
And so I don't want the thing that I'm like, I'm just going to be chill about this, to be like, I don't want to take that I'm going to chill approach and be like, I'm just going to like let this one go. Like this is the moment when like every lesson you teach is going to be learned. Like whether you want it to be or not, it's going to be.
Yeah.
And so like if the point that we're at, it's like, okay, you've learned the previous lesson. Well, fuck it. Let's keep going.
Yeah. And I think that's okay. But then you have to remember that it's okay that she's going to quote unquote fail that lesson, right?
Sure. Yeah.
And as a parent, just be like, well, she's not ready for that, but I'm going to keep trying as we go.
Right.
But peppering that annoyance. But I think this is also just when we parent, like I'm way more chill with that stuff, like the uppy, packy. Like at this point, like my old person, like, you're fucking 2. Like, I understand the other side of it is like, you gotta break that shit now. And my other side of me is like, you're fucking 2. So I think that's a really interesting point, though. That's something that can, because you want it to happen, right? You want it to push in because she is so advanced, right? She can do so many fucking cool things. Like, it's hard to like pull back and realize she's still so little. It's like it's like the wine thing. What's so funny to me about that is like it's such a pure toddler moment. That was it's like the polar opposite of what I saw Thea do when I picked her up. When like all of a sudden she was fucking dressed, man. She had her shoes on, she had her coat half on. I had help, but all of a sudden I was like,
yeah, she can largely do that stuff by herself.
It was
depending
awesome.
on the shoes, she can do it by herself now.
She had everything but the coat, and the coat I had help with. But that's, to me, where I'm at. That's groundbreaking. That is groundbreaking.
It's only 3 months too. That's the
I know,
thing, right?
It's so fast. But then I always have to remember. Then she does the wine thing where she forgets, and you're like,
yeah.
And I think we have to always come back to that as parents. Feel like as they make these big jumps, and you're like, holy shit, that's awesome.
Right.
To realize, oh yeah, but they're still toddlers.
So what was the thing you wanted to move on to before I cut you off?
Oh, I think this was just a good way to kind of segue this conversation. You know what? It's making me realize more and more as a parent, and not that I didn't know this, that some of the big stuff for me, I think is going to kind of come easy. Like the big stuff I'm ready for, like, you know, if he hits, oh, I know how to do that. I know how to like, I got that one. The parenting more and more as they get older, it's all this little stuff, right? It's all this minutia stuff that like, how do you parent in tandem with the school, but still let him have freedom at home? Or how do you parent the whining, but also understand when it's because he doesn't have the words or he is trying, like Aaron said. And this, to me right now, is where I'm at as a parent, is the challenge. Like it's cool, like it's really cool, but like the real challenge of parenting, it's not the big shit right now. It's the really tiny, like minutia that I guess I didn't realize was going to be as challenging as it is. But it is. It's really fucking hard to be like, well, where do I set these boundaries? How to use these boundaries? Where should they be? How do I handle all of these little things when the big things right now are the easier part of it?
Yeah, I mean, we're at that phase right now where like they aren't, for the most part, I should say, like they're not doing anything that's so terrible.
No, they're both really good kids. I mean,
like, well, I mean, at this age, I hope there aren't any kids that are like super fucking. Like, I hope there's no Omen kid out here who's just like, I secretly murdered my mother.
But some kids bite a lot. Some kids hit a lot, and
I guess that's true.
And Miles doesn't. And I know one of our friends' kids went through a biting phase. Like
a lot of those kids, a lot of those situations come from their parents, though. That come from things they've seen. In the world around them.
But you could still have, and like I know the person I'm thinking
I guess what I'm trying to say is like we have a loving family, and so.
But the person I'm thinking of whose kid went through a biting phase is a very loving family.
Really?
I think it's just a phase. Like it was just
Could be.
It's just how that child expressed.
I just like to think that I'm better than all other adults. So
Didn't you just say you were getting frustrated with your kid for not saying please first as a 2-year-old?
I prefer to think of it that I got exceptionally. I tried to push her into the gifted class instead of leaving her in the advanced class.
That's fair.
So I think we're gonna call it here for this week, and we're gonna move into our email segment, which is a segment where we never have any emails.
Yeah.
So what I decided, and Nick, hear me out on this. I think this is a good idea.
All right.
When we don't have an email, I'm going to say, fuck it. We still do a segment where we answer a question.
Okay.
So instead of like, oh, there's an audience member who wrote in and they want us to like read a thing and like, yay, I want to say, fuck it. I'm going to find like a stupid question and we're going to talk stupid for a while. All right. So here's my stupid for the moment, or dumb. I guess I should stay on brand. Here's my dumb.
Okay.
Would you rather listen to Baby Shark as the only song you get to listen to for the rest of your child's for the rest of your kid's childhood, or would you rather go in and dance the Macarena for the full 4-minute song every morning in front of the kid's entire school?
Oh, Baby Shark.
Really?
Wait, so when my kid's dropped off and I'm not with him, can I listen to other music?
No.
Can I listen to podcasts?
Yeah, I'm going to say yes. I think that's okay.
Great, then I just don't listen to music anymore.
Oh, man. I would much rather, give me the Macarena.
No, because here's my thing.
Yeah, okay, that's fair.
Because here's the thing. If he doesn't want to listen to it, I don't have to. I can listen to music through other means. Like if I'm watching a movie, it's not going to be Baby Shark playing during that
What if
movie.
it just switches to Baby Shark? What if you're watching Into the Spider-Verse and every time there's this really big moment, it's
that is a different. I'd still be okay with that. I don't. First of all, I don't want to listen to the Macarena every single day that I drop my kid off.
But it's once. It's just once.
That's fine.
It's not like you accidentally turn on the radio and it's it's Baby Shark. It's not like you set your alarm in the morning and that song turns into Baby Shark.
No, because I will just find other audio things to listen to. I'll listen to podcasts.
Give me that
news.
Macarena. I would love give me the opportunity to stand up in front of my daughter's school and be like, "Hey, baby, this is for you, baby doll."
The amount of scarring that's going to happen to your kid because you did that.
Oh, God. I am relishing in that. I'm going to do that anyway. It just won't be with the Macarena. Fuck, it might be with the Macarena.
Give me Baby Shark day in, day out. Because there's different variations of Baby Shark that I could listen to.
That's true. There are a lot of variations.
So, listen, I could listen to Pink Fong's version. I could listen to Simple Song's version. All kinds of different versions.
Oh, man. Oh, God. You haven't listened to it yet, have you?
What's that?
Oh, I'm going to wait until recommendations, sir. All right.
I think I do know what you're
That
talking
actually brings up recommendations. So this is the segment where we do we're like, hey, we do shit. And so I don't know, maybe you should do shit too. I think you went first for the Adventures in Dadding, so I'll go first on this one so that you don't steal my stuff.
Okay.
I actually have 2 recommendations. It's been a long time.
It's a double recommendation day,
and I've read and watched and listened, and I've done some cool stuff. And so I have 2 recommendations for you. The first one is, I think, possibly the most important expose ever written in the history
of mankind. I know exactly
what
you're talking about. I wasn't going to recommend
it,
but
I'm only somewhat facetious. I really do think this is one of the most fascinating stories I've read in a long, long time.
Did it come from NPR?
And that is the article, "What is Glitter?"
Oh, no, it's not what I thought.
From the New York Times.
Okay.
This is the most amazing expose.
You should
about
share that
what
to the
glitter
Facebook
is.
page.
I am absolutely going to share it to the Facebook page. But the article is called "What is Glitter?" By Caitlin, Katie Weaver, who is just one of the, oh my God, her voice is so tremendous in this article. I love it. But not to give anything away, what's amazing about this is it doesn't just explain what glitter is, but it very clearly was supposed to be a puff piece where it's just ever wonder what glitter is? Me too. Here's what it is. And then here's 1,000 words about it.
Yeah.
But then it turned in somewhere along the way when she contacts the companies and is so by the way, what is glitter? They just went, we can't tell you. Wait, what? Yeah, we can't.
It's proprietary.
Can I see how it's made? No. Who? Oh, fuck it. Okay. So who's your number one buyer of? Oh, no, we can't tell you that. Is there anything you fucking can tell me?
Oh, please share this article.
It's sparkly. What the fuck?
That's awesome.
Why can't you tell us what glitter is? It's fucking everywhere. Why can't you tell us what glitter is? There's only
secrets.
2 places that actually make it.
Really?
And so it's what the fuck? Why is this such a goddamn secret? It's fucking glitter. It is an amazing read, and it was very clearly originally supposed to be a tongue-in-cheek article that she kind of jokingly went through when this shit got weird, and now there's every fiber of my being wants the New York Times to do a real Watergate level investigative report
into glitter.
On fucking glitter. It's amazing.
Yeah, you should definitely share that so we can read it.
Totally sharing it.
So what's your second recommendation?
My second recommendation is from, I think it's Slate, but it might be NPR. I don't fucking know.
Is it a podcast or an article?
It's a podcast.
It's Slate.
From Decoder Ring.
Yes.
About Baby Shark.
There's also an NPR article about
there
it as
are
well.
Lots of articles about this one, but this one is a podcast. And if you're listening to us, it turns out you probably like a podcast.
It's really good. It's a good episode of Decoder.
And so it goes through the history, like the definitive solid history, and then does a little bit of speculation about the true technical origins of everybody's least favorite song. So
Dude, that's a top 40 hit, buddy.
yeah, with our kids.
No, in the clubs.
Yeah, like in the entire nation, it's a top 40 hit because our fucking kids love this shit and we play it for them like assholes.
It also talks about like the history of like YouTube videos with music and where that comes from. It was a really good episode.
Yeah, it's a tremendous episode. I really, truly, wholeheartedly recommend you listen to it, and I promise you'll only hear Baby Shark like 8 times in it.
Baby shark do 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 do. Baby shark do 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 do.
Baby Shark do do.
Oh man, the one with James Groban is great.
So Nick, how about you? What's your recommendations?
Nothing nearly as cool as that, but I still thought it was cool. My recommendation is Anna and the Apocalypse. It is so fucking good. So anyway, this movie, I've known about it. It combines two things. Well, one thing I love, zombie movies. It combines Christmas and a musical.
Yeah.
And it's British and it's fucking phenomenal.
Oh, man.
And my son likes listening to the music, and even though it's not entirely appropriate, it's still great when we get.
I tried listening to the album after you told me that you were listening to it with Thea, and I was like, this just sounds like a really stereotypical musical. Like, I don't hear any of the zombie in it.
Oh, but when you watch it in context of the movie,
I'm sure it's fucking ridiculous.
Great.
But...
And so, I just like the music. So we'll get in the car, and Miles will be like, Anna and the Apocalypse. And I'm like, first of all, you said Apocalypse. Good job. Second of all, yes, we can in fact listen to Anna and the Apocalypse. And then I tweeted that Miles liked it and the director retweeted. I was like, I feel special now.
That's awesome.
I think it's great. I think if you like that, if you like something that's goofy and you like zombie genre and you're ready to just kind of have fun, like if you like Shaun of the Dead type stuff, it's fucking great. I loved it. And there's some actors in there you'll recognize.
Wait, I just thought about it. Does that mean you actually had a tweet go viral?
No, he just retweeted my tweet.
Oh, that's sad.
But I was still happy about it.
It should be.
Great. I thought it's a great movie and I love the soundtrack, and I definitely recommend if you're into that kind of genre type stuff or genre melding, to go watch it.
Awesome. That sounds great.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to do it for us this week. I don't remember how this goes. As always, you can find me at Chris Mossigan on Twitter and at Rampant55 on Twitch.
You can find me at NWestermeyer on Twitter and at NWestermeyer on Instagram.
You can find us at our website, twodumbdads.com.
You can also find us on Twitter at 2dumbdads, at 2_dumbdads, and us on Instagram at 2dumbdads.
And until next time, be well.
Shark do 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 do.
Speaking of which, are we ever actually gonna do that like whole rock music thing for real?
Yeah, probably should.
Yeah. You want to you should probably start that thing. Oh, we also have to do the Journey thing. We have 2 outstanding things.
Don't stop believing.
Yeah, that Journey. Can we just listen to the album instead of playing through the whole 5-hour game?
Believing.
I bet we could get away with that.
Yeah, totally. We should go.
Okay.